call.
Oh, yes. Okay, no problem. Yes, you told me that activity the last time you do in US, in your country, California, and in your, you said that the place is warm now, is going to be summer, already summer, I think, right?
Well, let me look actually here. First day of.
Okay, that's great. So, Emma, can you tell me what the step, how we can improve our speaking English? Because in here I try to record the on the conversation that how the tips we make good English conversation,
Well,
especially for the speaker of different language.
I'd say the first step is to listen carefully. You're not going
Okay,
to learn anything by speaking. You'll learn by listening, and by listening carefully. When you first start out, you're not going to understand everything, but trying to get the main ideas and the picture or what someone is trying to say. And then as you continue, you will increase your knowledge by listening.
by
That goes
listening.
with
Okay,
everything. That's the first step, I'd say.
and how
Listen.
about the learning of the grammar of pronunciation? How the way we try to improve so we can make it to be the
I would say
one.
starting with pronunciation and vocabulary,
Okay,
because in English there are a lot of words, but
okay,
sometimes the same word can mean two different things in two different ways, like two different sentences. Like the same words are used the same sometimes.
okay.
English can be
So
very complex, but that's why I'd say to start learning vocabulary as much as you can, along with the
vocabulary. Yeah.
pronunciation first. When it
Do you
comes to, sorry,
do you think we need a flashcard to memorize the vocabulary? Something like a flashcard, little card that can memorize the verbs, the
uh,
noun.
I have a couple. Well, I found a website, but
Okay.
and I will share it with. Well, I've used it with other students. I can share it with you later to pass on to anyone who wants to use it. However, I'd say to find find topics that you're interested in and learn the words and uh, reading will also improve your vocabulary by expanding your knowledge. Again, listening comes into play as well.
Okay, I think there's a great solutions too. In the problem sometimes on the teaching English, I usually use the methods of learning and learning English by listening, like you told me before, learning English by listening and also tell about something like speech, okay, to introduce her or himself in English and to discuss about the topic what we discuss. For example, we discuss like food,
Yes.
daily activity, we discuss about school uniforms, school activities. It's very important. That's
Right.
those activity the students can remember all the vocabularies. Usually I do like that. But sometimes the students having problem with the pronunciations. The pronunciation itself, okay? Because
Yes.
the student sometimes is hard to pronounce. But after learning English with me in 6 months or 3 or 4 months, they could pronounce it little better
Yes.
like
hmm
that.
I agree. And I think the biggest thing I've noticed when it comes to speaking and working with with the students that I've worked with and just in groups in general and speaking with people is confidence.
Yeah.
They're afraid of saying the wrong thing, and also because I'm a native speaker, so sometimes that makes it puts pressure on
Different.
them. But at the same time, it's anything. I mean, this could apply to anything. It's the fear of making mistakes.
Yeah,
But
the
there's
fear of
nothing wrong
mistake. Yeah,
with
right.
making and there's nothing wrong with making mistakes. In fact, you're not going to learn unless you make mistakes.
That's right. I agree with you. As I told to the students that practice English to people from different language, from different countries, it means you practice to the native speaker, non-native speaker. Plus, if you practice English to native speaker, will give you additional. Because why? When you speak English to Indonesian people or Indonesian teacher, or we can say Indonesian tutor like me, I think I find something is useless because we know the language of Indonesia, but we speak in English. But you know that we don't meet any a good method that it will be okay. But I think the students, as I told before, to the some of the headmasters in my city, they need to practice English to the students from the different language. It means the teacher at school they must have capability to send, deliver the message to the teacher from the different language or native speaker like you, like that, Emma. What do you think? If you cooperate with the some of the school for the teaching online, what do you think about that?
I'm sorry, what do I think about the teaching and
Online. For example, some of the students will come to you practice their English. They will be curious whether they can speak English or not to the native speaker, for example. And you will be there as the English tester. What do you think about that? Is it a good idea or not?
I think it's good to practice with both native and non-native to get the
Of course.
ideas. And because in English, there's a wide variety of accents. There's not one specific accent.
Okay.
What one person will have a different from another person. So getting used to listening to people from different backgrounds and different cultures with we're all people, we all but people talk different. There's a lot of different ways people talk, and listening to a wide range of accents will help an individual learn English as well, whoever is
Yes,
practicing.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with your opinion, Emma. Because when we start to learn the English from native speaker, it will try to build a good pronunciation between learner and this and between learner, especially when they learn English in the elementary school, secondary school, high school. As we see in this nowadays, job of language is English. Wherever you see the media, you go to the newspaper, you see job application, all those things are talking about English. Some of them talk about Indonesia, but of course they require English speaking language. That's why with the criterions, the industry of education already changed. They have to change their mindset that should put English to their curriculum. But the problem is our English, our teachers at school don't speak English. That's the problem.
Right.
That's the big problem. That's why, especially if we go to the public school, we see maybe about maybe 70 or 90 or 90% teachers don't speak English at the public school in Indonesia. Hikes to
Oh.
the
Hmm.
uh,
They don't learn
private
it.
school. Private school is about maybe we can say 60% teacher in private school or maybe 70% they speaks English. That's why they deliver their message in the lesson in English. And when they graduated from the high school or vocational school, they will see the reality on the newspaper that the language of job is English, right?
Yes.
So that's the point, I think. So that's why, it's very important to have a native speaker to practice English. As we see, the private school, very expensive. The public school, not expensive. That's the difference.
Yes,
Right?
as with most countries, that's everything. If you go to private, you're going to pay more because you're investing and saying that this private school will be the best
Yeah,
fit.
that's right. So that's why I have programs actually. This has been long, long time. I want to do this. I would like try to establish a school, or maybe try to send of a proposal to a school, or maybe make it, or whatever. I mean that the students, especially in public school, not private school, because I care with the people in the public school. Okay, they have to get a good priority of the education because they have a low income. They need to be developed. Not only the rich people can go to the private school, they pay more, they are smart. It is like the different social status. But I want to have,
Yes.
yeah, different social status will, it means only the rich people can go, but the poor can't. But we have to establish, for example, how do we advance the public school go to the right level, similar to the private school, like that. So that's the program that I want to make. That's why we have having conversation here. It's a great idea, I think.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Probably Emma, if later I have some of the headmaster wants to talk with you, maybe from the public school, maybe I will try to deliver to you to your Skype. I think it will be a great conversation. For example, I know how the method that like this. How do we teach English to the students
Just
at
know that
school?
I just know that I'm not certified. To while I
Like
do it this for free, I am not a certified teacher.
okay, like this, I think. Maybe that will be okay. You will be an English tester when I try to test the English of the students, and then I will deliver to you as the quality tester.
Okay,
You,
then
you know
that
what I mean, quality tester.
seems doable. Just so
Yes, like that.
I'm happy to do that.
Yes, Emma, I think you are very important for many people, especially in Indonesia, for a student who wants to learn. Because if they go to the other course, other private or institution of English, they have to pay higher. At least they have to pay is more than $500 for one semester.
Mm, that's a lot.
Not a lot in US, but a lot money in Indonesia.
It's more, yes,
It's more in Indonesia, something like that.
yes.
So, uh, the conclusion, how do we learn English without teacher? What do you think that where the students should learn English without teacher?
Well, that they will have to. There's many resource. The internet now, in today we have this. There are many resources out there you can use. You
Okay,
can listen. Some people find it best to listen to a podcast. Some others, there's YouTube channels out there that teach English. In fact, I use sometimes in my classes. We'll go over something like maybe a pronunciation practice that's out there, or get involved in other groups that are learning English. Try to find
okay.
other places that and people that will help you as well. Maybe they're in the same journey as you. What
So
work?
how much that will be per hour if you teach English as a tester? How much the price per hour you are going to make to get the good deal with you?
I'm not sure. Well, right now, like I said, since I'm not certified, I'm not
Okay,
asking for anything.
but you will do it lovely. You will
Yes,
do it
but I'm
pleasure, with pleasure.
I'm I'm happy to help. That's all I'm saying.
That's great. That's great, I think, Emma. So, Emma, if the student asks for you about kinds of the topic, I think you will master in the topic like transportation, education in US, like tuition of college. They ask you like the price of the food in US,
Yes, I'm
about
happy to speak on a lot of different topics. Um,
yes. Because if you see my YouTube in my YouTube channel, I have a lot of the student want to improve their speaking English, but
Yes.
in this now in this time that I have only have four students. That's why it's hard to say that. But later when I have many more students, they need to learn and develop, learn to practice to the native speaker.
Right, and
Uh,
well, I've seen your channel, and those are good videos as well. I've watched a few of them.
Really?
Yes, I have.
It's great. Yes, because I enter also for university students sometimes who they want to learn English, especially TOEFL, testing of English language, foreign language. They learn it especially for student in the postgraduate class because why? They have to pass at least 500 TOEFL if they want to graduate it from the master in university.
And these
Some
people are taking the IELTS exam?
Mostly they take TOEFL. They take TOEFL and
Okay.
IELTS. Depends on the country they want to visit. For example, they want to
Right.
get PhD. It to United States, it will be TOEFL. If they want to go to UK or Australia, it will be IELTS.
Right.
Like
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
yeah, something like that, Emma. But this is very good topic and a good quality of conversation. We discuss about how to advance the learning of students, especially in English. Because why Indonesian's education school very sucks, to many holidays. The calendar always red. Okay, they don't know where to start, where to end, and where to exam. Sometimes, yeah, like
Yes.
that.
Hmm. And I'm sure the pandemic was harder on that because of figuring out when to schedule and all of that.
Especially the pandemic time when the situation was very chaos, or we can say the situation uncontrolled due to the situations. And
Right.
then it will end up now and it will be start a serious things to produce a good quality.
Yes.
Okay, Emma, here is 5 o'clock in the morning. Maybe I will talk to you again tonight. Okay.
All right. I hope your students enjoy this talk, and I'll talk to you later then.
Okay, Emma, thank you very much for your time. Talk to you again.
And
Bye
thank
for
you.
now.
Bye bye.